What is up, everybody? It's the mailman, Jimmy Milstead, and it's the small package here on this June 1st, 2023. It's June, and we're still talking pro hockey. I'm the mailman, Jimmy Milstead, and this is episode 21 of the small package podcast. I also have this going up on YouTube. And joining me this evening, host of the Courts and Fields podcast, one of my regulars, one of my reliable pals to talk here on the pod, up there in DuPont, the PipeLayer, Tim Kelly. What's up, buddy?
James Postali. Thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. Yes. And I believe we pronounce it DuPont.
Okay. French.
Yeah. You were up here. You were living in this area before I ever moved up here. But you don't remember it being called DuPont when you were up here?
Well, I mean, that whole Army area, that thing's built up. I actually kind of live farther. I live a little bit farther south there in the Lacey area, more towards Olympia. But DuPont, man, yeah, my sister lived there. It must be even blown up. I've been to your house a couple of times.
Yeah,
that place is. I gotta go back up to your place. I haven't even taken it all in, man. Traffic's always fun up there. I don't envy you there, but how was work today, buddy? Busy
good.
times.
Good. We're having a good time. Just it is work. You know awesome. how it works.
Yeah, man.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. Some days are calm. Some days are frenetic, and those frenetic days usually happen right before everybody leaves, right? So,
yep.
I was gonna say I think my house was built in 2004, so you were probably out of the service by 2004, around 2004. Yeah.
Well, when I was active, I got called back into the reserves. That's where I did my deployment. But Fort Lewis wise, I was done by 2004. Yeah. I was already starting to sling the mail. That's why we call me the Postali. But Timmy,
yes, sir.
It's Stanley Cup Finals, man. Two teams. I know you're a life before you were a Kraken fan. A long life.
A lifelong.
Vegas Golden Knights, and they are back in the finals. This is amazing. This is their 6th year in the NHL. They've been to conference finals, 4 times?
Yep.
Out of the 6, they missed the playoffs once, eliminated in the first round one time. They are back in the Stanley Cup Finals, and they've been pretty consistent all year. And then you got what I think is the probably the darlings of, if you put a map on the U.S., Canada, who's rooting for who, I would think you're maybe, I don't know, I could be wrong here. The Florida Panthers and Matthew Tkachuk, they have just upset everybody in the tournament. What do you think of this matchup, man? I can tell you right now, or you remember me on your show and in our prediction show, I had Vegas out against Winnipeg, and I had Florida a gentleman's sweep. Actually, I had Vegas going a little bit farther, but getting upset in the first round. But I had Florida done in 5 games. What do you think of this matchup, man? You got 2 American stars, Matthew Tkachuk, Jack Eichel going at it. They're probably the favorites to win the Conn Smythe, depending on who would win. But what do you think of this matchup, Tim?
It's pretty cool. It just shows you how great the Stanley Cup playoffs are. I mean, you have, the best team in the West, points-wise, in Vegas making it. But you have an 8 seed who was down 3-1 against Boston. And ever since they won that game 5, they have been on fire in Florida. And it's crazy. I mean, what was I know we're going to talk a little bit about the previous round, the conference finals, but they swept Carolina, and Rod the Bod, said, "Oh, this wasn't a sweep." And it's like, wait, well, but it was a sweep. And I know what the point he was trying to make. We didn't get slaughtered in all these games. All these games could have gone either way, including a 4 overtime epic.
4 overtime, yeah.
4, yeah.
Did you watch that whole game?
Huh?
Did you end up, I can't remember. I think I had you on with me on the chat. Did you stay up?
I watched I watched the second game. I missed the regulation, but I watched the
Okay.
second game. Yeah, but with all the fans falling asleep. But yeah, I mean, I get what he's trying to say, but a sweep is a sweep. You didn't win a game.
Yep.
But they've
And
just
then,
been killing it.
yeah, they've been awesome, and so is Vegas Golden Knights. I know I've come off on this show particularly as on all season. I've always been a Vegas hater. You took to the Vegas Golden Knights when they first came in before the Kraken became the 32nd team. But I got to give them props, man. My hats are off to both these squads. I think it's going to be an entertaining series. And real quick, Tim, I just lost my my graphic here, but the schedule for the Stanley Cup Finals, Demi, this will begin Saturday, June 3rd. As today is, as on this recording, this is Thursday, June 1st. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock on the West. All the games, Tim, are on TNT/TBS True TV. Man, they're putting it on all of them. And obviously up in Canada, it's a CBC product up there in Sportsnet. But game one, Saturday night in Vegas, buddy, with game two on a Monday. Looks like they're all 8 p.m. starts, if my eyes are correct, even up through game seven. So if the series does extend, Tim, there are a couple of days off in between. In fact, when it transitions back to Florida, that's not until Thursday, June 8th. So this season's going to be a little bit dragging here. But I think both teams coming into this, Tim, are looking pretty healthy. I mean, Florida has been off for what, 9 or 10 days, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. I think the record has been 11 back in the day. So do you think that hinders a team like Florida, a team of destiny? A lot of people are saying. Do you think you'd rather be playing? Vegas probably had a better situation where they kind of. I know they probably wanted to end it quicker than they did, but they're going to be what, 5 days in between. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, not to talk hoops with you, but the NBA Finals is also something similar, which starts the day that we're recording this. But the Nuggets almost didn't play for 2 weeks, and the Miami Heat haven't played in about 2 days. You know what I mean? 3 days, whatever it is. But so I think with that series, now granted it's different, Denver elevation and all that stuff, but I think it hurts a team like the Panthers the first period, maybe the first period and a half. But then I think they ease into it. You know what I mean? I think it's nice to have that rest. I mean, think how physical. I mean, the Seattle Kraken played 14 games in about a 28-day period. I mean, it was play a game, travel, maybe a day off, play a game, travel. Like depending on how they did it. So it's probably been really nice for Florida. And you got to get your body back into that rhythm. It's not natural to have 9 days off, but this time of year you could use it.
Yes, indeed. So let me finish to what I was going to say as far as the schedule. Yeah, that series shifts from Monday in Vegas. That was game two. It'll be game three Thursday, June the 8th. Then a week from Saturday, it'll be in Florida. Game four on Saturday, June the 10th. So those are the first four games. I think the NHL, a lot of people complain like traditionalists, these aren't hockey markets. I think it's farther from the truth. I think hockey's red hot. I know Florida's taken a lot of heat. Sometimes they haven't filled their building out when times are tough, but it's red hot down there. And these are two epic locations if you're traveling to the finals. And I think I'm really looking forward to this, Tim. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Game five, if necessary, would be Tuesday, June 13th. Game six would be Friday, June 16th. So there's a little bit more, a couple of days off in between games 5 and 6. And if it does go to the distance, the last possible date, Tim, Monday, June the 19th. I actually have this series going 7, but we'll save our predictions to the end of this show. So yeah, there's a lot of downtime in between matchups or games if there are certain implications here that this series does get extended. So still some hockey left And wow, June hockey. Usually back in the day, these things were wrapped up end of May. Um, but actually, the past few years, ever since the salary cap era, the hockey has ended in June a lot. But what are you thinking as far as, let's see, who's a standout player for you in this series? I mean, we've talked about Tkachuk and Eichel off the broadcast. Is there somebody? What do you think of the goaltending matchup? We got Aiden Hill versus Bobrovsky, and this guy,
Bob has been outstanding.
yeah,
I mean,
he's
Bob has been ridiculous. I mean, some of those saves that he's had. That I mean, when he had the whole Carolina Hurricanes in that not sweep that Rod Brindamore said happened. No, but he was on his head those games. I mean, let's talk about Montour.
oh yeah,
I mean, that guy. I mean, I think he's got 6 goals and 14 assists. I might be off on that. I think it's something like that.
yeah. I'm trying to bring up these guys' rosters here on our old.
But you know who I love, the Butcher.
Oh yeah, oh Radko Gudas. Yes, let him eat.
Let him eat. He's had some ties to our area of having played for the Everett Silvertips.
Yep. Yep. You know, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
For the longest time. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think those are. I mean, I think. I hate to be generic, but I mean, this has just been Chucky's playoffs. I mean,
yeah,
3-game winners already.
Yeah, I don't know what the Conn Smythe odds, but he's got to be up there along with Bob, of course, who's been playing ridiculous. Bob didn't even start these playoffs, if you recall. It was the kid Lion. I can't remember the kid's first name. I want to say it's Andrew, right?
Yeah.
But
he's on the bench.
Yeah, it doesn't matter right now. And I thought that kid was playing pretty good. Bob making those 10 sheets has lived it up to the billing there. And then opposite of him is Aiden Hill. This guy's come out of the woodwork. The Vegas Golden Knights started off with Laurent Brossoit, when the playoffs started, until he had to be replaced due to injury?
Yes.
John Quick still waiting in the wings, the backup. I still think it's going to come down to goaltending here, but each of these guys have done a great job. Bob, I think more so, because he's been in some tight defensive battles. But like you said, that Brandon Montour, he must have skated about 58 minutes in that 4 overtime game in game 1.
Yeah.
As Florida obviously defeated Carolina in the Eastern Conference Finals, Tim, who did you have in that series? I had the Panthers winning. Or no, I had the who did I have? I did have the Panthers winning that in 6 is what I said. We did not have a show for the conference finals, and I also had Dallas. I kept thinking the Dallas Stars were going to beat the Vegas Golden Knights, and that did not happen. I said Dallas in 7, Tim. What did you think back in the
I thought
final?
This would be starting at the conference finals. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs I had. I mean, like you, I thought Vegas would get to the next round. I thought we were going to have an Edmonton, I believe Edmonton and New York Rangers finals, and it shows you what do we know when it comes to playoff hockey? Absolutely nothing. But I mean, it's wild to think now. You get this far in the season, you're like, why did we ever bet against the Panthers?
It's crazy.
But yeah, I had the Panthers winning just because after the second round, it seemed like, oh, okay. I mean, they won that first. They came back and beat Boston. Then the second round, they were just like, oh, they're a team of destiny now.
Yeah, that has been the moniker, or a lot of people are calling them the team of destiny, because they've been having the bounces go their way. I mean, hockey, it's a sport of skill. I mean, you do have to have a good team, but you also got to get the bounces. And Florida has been that team all playoffs long, Tim, that have been getting the bounces. What was it? The game 4, they had a bad call for the Carolina Hurricanes did on Jordan Staal. There was 3 Stahls in that series. Mark Stahls and the original Staal boy. God, I forgot his name already. They're on the Panthers, but Jordan, the center for the Hurricanes, he took a late penalty, and you would think the refs would have maybe gave a veteran benefit of the doubt late in that game, maybe put the whistles away, but Florida got it. That's how T'Chuk scored right before overtime to get the Panthers
Yeah.
out in front. That was ridiculous because I give Carolina credit, like Brendan Moore said, they battled. And,
Oh yeah.
For the most part, Florida, Tim, they've only got one big time injury. It's Patrick Hornquist, former Penguin, who's got a lot of cup experience. He's had a concussion. He's been out since December. But other than that, they got Lomberg back, and they're raring to go. And I love that Lomberg. I think they call him Lamborghini. He's a little rat out there, but he can put the puck in the net at times too. What are your thoughts on this team? They're real scrappy. Sam Bennett, he put a huge hit on Jake Slavin in that game 4, that game clincher. I think that was an early hit too. I think when that happened, I that really sealed the deal for me. I thought Florida was gonna win that game outright, but Carolina did come back in that game, but it just wasn't enough. What do you think of this scrappy Florida Panthers? Sam Bennett.
Yeah, Bennett. Yeah, it's bizarre, right? Because this is a complete opposite of the team they were last year when they won the President's Trophy, and got knocked out by Tampa Bay. And they just said, we're going to trade our best player, and we're going to bring in Matthew Tkachuk because we think he's better. And I think they've proven right? Because what's the end goal? Is it to win regular season trophies, or is it to get to the final series? They've done that. Crazy, too. I mean, Quenneville was the coach last year, and the report of the scandal comes out. He gone. And then here we are with, Paul Maurice, who, what they say, something about, he doesn't like fun or what have you, and and then you look at across the aisle in Vegas. I mean, they've got their third coach in 6 years, and they've made the playoffs 5 of those 6 years. Very bizarre. But yeah, I mean, you just got this voice. I mean, they changed how they were. They got the 8 seed, and a lot of it was, we're gonna play playoff hockey all throughout the year, and it got them the 8 seed. But something clicked in Boston, and what was that, May, and they April, into April, and they just haven't stopped.
They've been on a heater ever since. That's why I'm wondering how this layoff is. I mean, we talked about it just a few minutes ago, but just wondering how much that mojo is going to stop. But I think once that puck's dropped, both these teams will be raring to go. As far as the Vegas Golden Knights, Tim, they got 4 injuries. We talked about Laurent Brossoit. He has a lower body injury ever since May 8th from that Winnipeg series. He hasn't resumed skating at all either. So I'm counting him out. But Aiden Hill's done a great job in place of him right now. Robin Leonard, of course, has been out all year with that hip. I mean, how many goalies do these guys have in their system? I mean, this guy. I wonder if this guy ever plays hockey again. To tell you the truth, he had that major hip.
Yeah,
surgery.
It was weird, right? Because they were very like, "Oh, he's hurt," and it was like very hush hush about what it was for a while.
And then big time superstar. He was drafted number 2 overall a couple years ago. Nolan Patrick. We wonder if he'll ever play high. I kept forgetting he was a Vegas Golden Knight. He was acquired. He got dealt in a 3-way team deal a few years ago. Cody Glass, I believe, was involved in that. Former Portland Winterhawk. He went to Nashville, and I don't remember what the Flyers ended up getting. Ryan Ellis.
Smashville, you mean?
Yeah, Smashville. But Nolan Patrick, all the best to him. Just concussion problems all the time. And then another goalie, Tim, Logan Thompson. This guy was their best goalie in the system.
Oh, yeah.
He was probably a big candidate to win the Calder. He's had a lower body ever since March 25th. He has never even seen playoff action. So, I mean, they've both teams coming in the Stanley Cup final, Tim. I would say pretty healthy. And, I mean, I know all these guys are probably got bumps and bruises that you don't even know of. But for the most part, I think coming into game 1, you got 2 teams that are well rested at the moment. And Dallas Stars, I just don't know, man. They got beat up by these Vegas Knights in that last game, 6-0. We never really reviewed round 2. You had the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 when they what was it? Beat the
Devils.
I can't remember. Yeah, the Devils. You also had the Kraken in 7. That was almost a true story there.
So
almost. We'll talk about your Kraken here in a few seconds, even though this is mostly a Stanley Cup preview. You also had Toronto in 7. Man, what is going to be happening to those guys? There's a lot of drama going on over there in Toronto. Kyle Dubas just got signed by the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's their new president, hockey ops. And we both, me and you both had it in for Edmonton. You had Edmonton in 6 back there in the second round. They got beat by these Vegas Golden Knights. And I also had Edmonton in 6. I think our only difference is I had Devils in 6 and Stars in 6 back there in round 2. Was there anything jumped out besides? Well, let's get to your Kraken, Timmy. Give me your thoughts on that 7-game series. I think they took a lot out of the Dallas Stars. I think they took a chunk of flesh out of those guys. What are your thoughts on the Kraken first ever playoff run? It was a great run by your boys.
Well, I'll say first and foremost, just the big picture, right? I mean, Seattle's a hockey town. There's no doubt about it. And I said this to some friends. Obviously, all of us growing up around here, we're all Mariners fans because they had Griffey and the Seahawks. Okay, the Seahawks are good. I mean, I'm a huge Seahawks fan too. But, nobody – you grew up around here in the 90s. It wasn't cool to say you like the Seahawks. It was Sonics and Mariners. And then the Seahawks turned, but, then the Sonics leave, all that stuff. But watching what the Kraken did and how it impacted people, you're never going to get the really old people who have just, for the last 20 years flipped on Fox Sports Northwest, that's now Root Sports, and watched the Mariners games day in and day out. But I'm not going to be surprised if in 4 or 5 years, the current trajectory the Mariners have been on the last 2 decades plus, if the Kraken jump them and people, 40, 45 and under, I mean, you just see it. I mean, people are into it. They love it. I mean, it's just a different animal, right? I mean, playoffs of anything are great, but when you have this in hockey where it's every night and everybody's watching the games and everybody's into it. And like you said, I mean, I think there's a big thing. I think it was huge that they beat Colorado in 7 that first round. And at that point, you're just playing with house money, right? And you have it so that, it sucks that they lost to Dallas. But to your point, I mean, Dallas looked like a broken team when they played Vegas. I mean, they only beat Vegas when their second best player was suspended. It's the only time they won.
Yeah, it's unreal.
But I mean, just watching. But you see the flaws of a team like Seattle, right? I mean, they can't win a face-off if their life depended on it. You just need some bigger time scores, and you need to play better defense. I mean, there were so many times just watching that Dallas series it exposed. I mean, Pavelski, what was that, game 1 or game 2, where he just anytime
it was game 1.
Game 1.
They won that game. They won that game 5-4, I think. But he had he had 4 goals that night.
He had 4 goals. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But Robertson didn't do anything that series, which is very bizarre.
He started to wake up after that in the Vegas series.
Against Vegas he started showing up. But it's just I mean, Rupe, he was after Pavelski. Those two guys are going to give me nightmares.
Rupe Hintz still leads, I think, the playoffs right now in points. I'm trying to.
Yeah. I mean, in Ottinger, he would just have a bad game, and then he would just be.
He was inconsistent.
He was nailed, though.
Yeah, he'd be hot and cold. I think they needed more consistent goaltending play out of him. Yeah, Rupe Hintz, man, this guy, if he'd be still playing hockey alive, he ended up with 14 assists, 24 points. Draisaitl still has 13 goals. He leads the
that's crazy
playoffs.
I was going to say, I'm surprised Pavelski's not, but he missed most of that first round, didn't he?
Yeah, he missed. I I can't remember. Did he even come back? He didn't come out until the Seattle series.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't play.
Yeah. So yeah, Leon Draisaitl leads everybody in the playoffs goal scoring wise with the 13, and then let's see, your boy's still trying to figure out hockeyreference.com here.
It's
But
a good site though. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I just got to get used to it to get better at this show here.
Yeah. I know you're doing fine. Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? I mean, going back to the Kraken real quick, and then I have a Capitals question for you as well.
Oh, sure.
What did you think about Ron Francis getting an extension yesterday?
I think it was a very smart move. I'm curious. Like, I'll throw it back to you. Do you think it was did you want more time on it? What is it? 3 years?
Yeah, I think it extends till the end of the 2027 season. So
I mean, like I can't tell you what I'm going to be doing next week, but as far as I don't know. I think he's done a great job. We'll see. I mean, I don't know what an average GM lifespan is in the NHL. I know there's a few, like Brian McClellan's been there a while.
Yeah,
Capitals. But I think Ronnie Francis, man, he's done an amazing job. I think it's great.
Vegas is already on their second GM. Granted, you know, the GM is as when I was on the Vegas blog, since he was.
Yeah. Well, he's still the president.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure, he's.
But you know, I just think it's that thing of it's weird, right? College athletics. You know, you have players for 4 or 5 years, depending if they redshirt or not, and you know, you kind of have to give those guys 4-year contracts, right? Because if I'm out recruiting, you can't be like, well, you know, your son, they'd be like, well, your contract's up before he's gone. But in a sport like hockey, a lot can change really quick. As we mentioned, here's Vegas playing for their second Stanley Cup in 6 seasons and their 5th playoff appearance and their 4th Western Conference Finals, and they've had 3 coaches during that span. So a lot can change just like that. But so, yeah, I do want him to get a 7-year contract extension. That'd be nice, but then if he gets fat and happy, he's resting on his laurels. Plus, you got to see, he has built this team, you know, that they're on year 2 of the Castaways, right? Next year will be year 3. I mean, really the only contributors really on the team that were not, considered castaways. They'd spin it as well. They all Seattle wanted all these guys, but you have Matty Beniers and you have Ty Cartier, who have come up through their, I guess I use a quote unquote developmental system, but the rest of the guys making plays were expansion guys or like a guy like Tolanov or, even free agents or trades,
But by the way, what do you think of your AHL Coachella Valley Firebirds, man? Speaking of Cartier, and they got a game tonight, right? Against the Milwaukee
Admirals. 2-0. They're in Milwaukee taking on the Admirals.
Are they showing those on Root Sports?
I have not seen them. They might be showing tonight because the Mariners aren't playing.
Okay, but because you could possibly, Tim, have an AHL final of your Seattle Kraken AHL affiliate versus the Capitals AHL affiliate, the Hershey Bears. They're still alive down there in the AHL level. They're in a dogfight there. They lost last night to the Rochester Americans. Man, that series is 3-2. That would be amazing. I know NHL Network is showing the Memorial Cup right now, but they aren't they have been known to show the AHL finals, and that would be appointment viewing if it is Coachella. Oh, yeah. Their first season, right?
Yeah, their first season. They hired
it's amazing.
Former Pittsburgh coach.
Dan Bylsma.
Yeah. And
that's amazing.
A lot of people thought, if the Kraken stumbled early, this could be that, Bylsma will get called up and bye-bye.
He's been around the block a few times as far as being assistant coaches on NHL level, to my knowledge. I think And I totally forgot about him. He's been tucked away. And
Yeah,
yeah, he has cups. Uh,
yeah.
and
It's
as a
a
Caps
good
fan,
coach for this young team to have.
yeah. So Hackstall's done an outstanding
Oh
job
yeah.
as well. Did I answer your question fully for Francis?
Oh no, you
I
did. Yeah.
I
I mean,
I think he's a solid GM, and man, I think the Kraken's number one priority, in my opinion, not being uh totally invested in the team all the time.
yeah.
I think they need to wrap up Vince Dunn, man. I'm not sure how contract talks are. They need him. They need to solidify that D, and I think they'll be real good next year. I think they got the offensive talent. Goaltending's been decent. I'm not sure what you think, but Vince Dunn, don't you think he's probably number one on the priority?
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like he'll get 7-8 million, maybe even more. When you get that 8-year contract. Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's tough, right? Because this team, again, wasn't really expected to do much, and here they are. I mean, they're a period away, really, right? I mean, they're down 1-0 at the start of the third of Game 7. A period away from possibly playing
Yeah,
for a Western Conference final. So then becomes the age-old question. Your team always needs to evolve, but what do? Do you go hard and they have some cap room? Do you bring somebody in? Or, you've got guys coming up the pipeline like Shane Wright, who, had a cup of coffee, or, you got Jagger Furcus in the
yeah,
system. He's
that guy. That guy's awesome, man.
yeah,
Moose Jaw
and
Warrior.
sorry.
Oh, product of the Moose Jaw Warriors. Is he playing for the Coachella Firebirds?
Yes, he's on
Okay,
Coachella.
that's what I thought.
But then, I
He's a
mean,
he's a good player.
even think about it, right? I mean, up until the Colonel's buddy Cale Makar took out our leading scorer in McCann, nobody knew who Ty Cartier was. I mean, people knew
Yeah,
if you followed
he's
the
a great
thing,
player.
but I mean, you got to think Cartier is going to be on the roster next year. He played
Yeah,
very well in the playoffs.
very impressed with that player.
Yeah.
Yeah, did I say off the top of the broadcast we were supposed to have Kevin Stork, our favorite Canadian. He's away at a doctor's appointment, and tomorrow he is going to a Cure concert. So I wanted to get this Stanley Cup Finals prediction preview little mini roundtable underway. And where has our buddy the Colonel Nick Reedy been? I think he's dogging us, man. Ever since the Wild got bounced, and he kind of defended Cale Makar.
I've heard the reports that the Colonel's been in Denver. He's been seen in Denver.
Okay.
Leaving a penthouse to 1C period Makar. Just saying. Just what I heard.
He's a big I don't know what they're called there in Minnesota. The side by side. He's a big off road racing guy. So he's been putting together his vehicles, Tim. I just think he's dogging us. Because ever since you called him out on what his Cale Makar take was, he hasn't been on our podcast too much. But anyways, we'll get the Colonel Nick Reedy back on, as well as Stork, as soon as the Stanley Cup is lifted, or maybe we'll talk about a few of the series games if this game or the series goes really long. But go ahead, Tim.
One question before we make our predictions: your Capitals made a hire.
Oh, Spencer Carberry, a product of Victoria, BC, just officially introduced today. They made a big hullabaloo, or is that the right word?
Yeah.
The introductory press conference. I watched that at work actually on my phone. That's how geeked up I am, Tim. A fresh hire. He's been in the system at the aforementioned Hershey Bears. He was their coach before Toronto. He was over there with the Toronto Maple Leafs as an assistant here the past few years. So he's good, I believe, with the power play. So been working with Matthews, Marner, all those guys. The Caps no longer have Blaine Forsythe as their power play coach. We're gonna need some new, fresh takes, a new voice. This guy also was in the South Carolina Stingrays, the ECHL, with the franchise. So this is a no-brainer hire, dude. I'm glad we're not getting a recycled guy. The only recycled guy I would have liked was Coach Q, and we don't even know if he's going to be
Yeah.
allowed back yet. But I'm very excited, Tim. Spencer Carberry, yeah, we'll see. He's probably going to be a great fit there to bring the older core veterans that hang around with an injection of youth, because that's what the Caps need. We need big injection of speed and youth, and there's a lot of those guys in Hershey. Still probably need to replenish the cupboards a lot. It's a big draft year there in Nashville, and I cannot wait to see where this leads, Tim. Thanks for asking me that question, man. I am excited. Spencer Carberry, I think he's going to be an outstanding head coach here. And I believe he's got a 4-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go Caps. He'll finish out Ovi's string, and I know he will do his best to give this Ovechkin a great final hurrah, so
A
to speak.
send-off, if you will.
Yes, a send-off. And GM, BM, I know my buddy Mark Wood is not the biggest fan of him. I'm still a fan. I think he's doing the best with what he can work with around the cap. Interesting offseason, free agents wise. And I'm more interested in the draft. Right after, speaking of that, Memorial Cup is going on right now. And as we transition from Caps talk, I'd like to real quick, Tim, congratulate these guys, the Seattle Thunderbirds. I know I've kind of been neglecting on my podcast. It was just too much. I saw it all, Tim. Your 2023 WHL champions, they hoisted the Ed Chenault Cup just a week and a half ago, right? 2 weeks. The Memorial Cups right now, they're actually playing a tiebreaker game. The losers out in this one, Kamloops and the OHL champion Peterborough Petes. Kamloops, the host city. T-Birds beat them last night, Tim, 6-1. T-Birds get a spot in the semis. Patrick Wall's team, the Quebec Remparts, automatically got a trip to the finals Sunday. That's going to be on NHL Network, by the way. And because the Remparts did beat the T-Birds here in the round-robin tournament, but a very interesting round-robin tournament. I've liked what I've seen from Seattle Thunderbirds. And T-Birds, good luck, buddy. They're either going to get Peterborough or Kamloops again tomorrow night as Stormy makes an appearance here on the show. Tim, she's your producer on your show.
She's a producer. She's been she's not. She's kind of just off camera. Oh, there you can see kind of a tail right now.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
People on the podcast won't know what we're talking about. That's Tim Kelly's favorite feline and producer of the Courts and Fields, from what I hear.
Yeah. That's what she does. She's she's the bodyguard of this place. Now she's gonna lay next to us. But I that's so awesome about the Thunderbirds. And just being able to for you to experience it as a fan. What was the final total for you home games?
Oh, home game wise, well, regular season it was I would have had a flawless record. So kudos to the boys for entertaining me. In regulation, I had 0 losses. I saw them win 22 games, Tim. 0 losses, 1 overtime loss, and 1 shootout loss. You were with me during the shootout loss, but
I was.
You're not bad luck though, buddy. Playoffs, I went 9-1. I saw my first regulation loss to those Kamloops Blazers in Game 5. T-Birds ended up winning that series up there in Kamloops, Game 6. That was the Western Conference Finals. And then they won all their games, Tim, on home ice to clinch the WHL championship against the Winnipeg Ice almost 2 weeks ago. Now they're in the Memorial Cup, a trophy they have yet to own, but they've been involved with, I believe this is their 3rd appearance. They've been doing a good job this time around, Tim. They've gotten wins over the OHL champion Peterborough Petes, 6-3, and they beat the Kamloops Blazers last night 6-1. Their only loss was last Monday to the Quebec Remparts 3-1, and they will get the winner of this tie-breaking game that's about to drop as we speak. Losers out, like I said, Peterborough Petes, Kamloops Blazers, championship game. The semifinals is Friday, Tim, and the championship is Sunday. So the Memorial Cup will be decided Sunday. So very excited here. I think the boys have been looking good. Shout out to Thomas Milich. He's going to get drafted this year, buddy. Somebody's going to take his gold medalist, World Juniors. guys like Nico Mijatovic, Sawyer Minio, a Kamloops area native, playing for the T-Birds. Scott Ratzloff, a Jeremy Hansel. There's some real good young talent that's going to get drafted, and we've got a plethora of guys that are already on NHL squads. A couple are not signed. I don't know what Montreal's waiting for. Jared Davidson, God, this guy is doing everything. I don't know how he doesn't have a contract or an entry level deal. We'll see what Montreal does because there's no doubt about it. Somebody's going to scoop him up if he doesn't get signed eventually. But World Cup, good luck to the Seattle Thunderbirds. And oh, by the way, Tim, here's the championship shirt. I don't know if you can see it.
Well, I'd love to see it.
2023 WHL champions. Man, I'm sure they're going to rate me for more gear if they could win one more trophy. But this is just a cherry on top. A lot of people probably put too much emphasis on it. I don't think it's going to detract if they don't win it. It is the best on best tournament of all the CHL teams with the host city.
Seattle's going to win?
I think they can do it, Tim. Like you said, or like we talked about earlier, Quebec's going to have a layoff. They would have been not. I think their last game was Tuesday. I mean, these are all kids too, so I don't know how much rest factors. But Kamloops is going to have to run the table in 4 and 5 days if they're to win it. They played last night against Seattle. They're playing tonight against Peterborough, and if they were to win tonight, they'd be playing Seattle tomorrow. And then there's a day off Saturday, and then they would have to play Quebec on Sunday for the chance. That's just like a gauntlet. So thoughts and prayers there to the Kamloops, the host city. Peterborough, less of a. They would have to play a back-to-back. If they were to win, they'll play Seattle tomorrow. So I don't know, man. The game just started. It'll be an interesting contest. Oh, these two teams faced last Saturday, and that was Kamloops' only win so far. They thumped the Petes 10-2. So it's been like everybody's kind of beat everybody in this tournament. Peterborough Petes beat Quebec Remparts. That was their only loss. If people are wondering why Quebec's in the finals, it's because they beat Seattle in the host city, and it basically was a tie-breaking thing. So format's kind of iffy, but they only got a week and or 9 days to do this thing. So, but all the best to the Seattle Thunderbirds here at the 2023 Memorial Cup. But as a Stanley Cup Finals preview prediction show, Tim, I guess it's time to talk about our predictions. Real quick, though, I brought these up earlier, and I finally found it. Rupe Hintz leads all playoff scorers with 24 points. He ended up with 10 goals, 14 assists in 19 games. So if this guy could have kept going, he could have been a Conn Smythe candidate. Then that's our boy, Matt Tkachuk. Walt Keith's kid. This guy's been just a fun watch. 9 goals, 12 assists, Tim, 21 points. He does it all. Connor McDavid finished with 8 goals, 12 assists, 20 points. Draisaitl had 12 goals. Or no, sorry. Let me go back again. Rupe Hintz had 10 goals, 14 assists. Did I say 19? Those were the games played. Tkachuk, 9 goals, 12 assists. Connor McDavid, 8 goals, 12 assists. Draisaitl, here it is, 13 goals, 5 assists. That guy was on a maniac in 2 rounds. And then Jack Eichel, he's I believe Vegas is odds on to win the Conn Smythe if they're to hoist it. 6 goals, 12 assists. He was kind of quiet, Tim, in that Dallas series, but he's still playing great hockey. And then Jason Robertson, he kind of came alive. 7 goals, 11 assists, 18 points. So, and then there's a guy I think that doesn't get talked about enough. My wife hates this player, John Marchessault, man.
Marshy.
I think he has a 9-goal game streak. He has got 9 goals. I think he's scored in every game. Or no, he's got some kind of streak going, from what I heard. 17 playoff games. He's got 9 goals. So I think he's scored some fashion 9 straight games from what they said. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's either going to be Mark Stone or Sasha Barkov lifting the cup, Tim. The time has come, dude. What is your series prediction? What are you thinking? Physical series. I don't think you're going to see a sweep, but I'll let you have the floor. Who you got How many games? Give me a Conn Smythe winner. It could be from a losing team, by the way.
I'm gonna go so that we can have something to talk back and forth about. I want to go Florida, but as a lifelong Vegas Knights fan, I want to go for the story of Florida. Gonna take the Golden Knights in 7.
All right.
As much as I want Wild Bill to get the Conn Smythe, I think this playoffs has all been about Bob, and I think it's going to continue to be about Bob, even in a loss.
All right. So, did you say you have Bob for the Conn Smythe in a loss?
I do.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, if I recall, Conn Smythe, I might be leaving one out. I know Ron Hextall won it somewhere around 86, 87 with the Flyers against the Edmonton Oilers. He won the Conn Smythe as on a losing team for the most valuable player for the playoffs. Remember, the Conn Smythe is for the playoffs MVP. It's not the whole season. Yeah. It's throughout the whole playoffs, and it's not even Stanley Cup Finals. It's the whole playoffs. And then J.S. Giguère from the Anaheim Mighty Ducks back in against
20
the
years
Devils.
ago. 20
yeah.
years ago.
I believe he captured, and I want to say there was a third one, but those are the only two that I'm thinking of right now. There might have been a guy back in the day, but
I just remember getting jiggy with it.
Yeah, I was in Korea that year. I love those Ducks uniforms. I think that was the year.
What are you gonna say about those Ducks uniforms?
Oh, I love them. The Mighty Ducks.
They're the best.
That was awesome.
Why can't you get rid of them?
I don't know, man.
Too cartoony, too Disney. I get it, but way better than what they wear now.
I mean, I totally get the current version kind of symbolizes more of a duck, I guess you would say, with the orange.
Orange
look.
They're garbage.
But anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh, but that series, if you recall, Paul Kariya got nailed by Scott Stevens. That was a massive hit, by the way. I think that's why you see a lot of the different rules these days. Scott Stevens, man, he used to lay you out. So, any other comments on that series, Tim? I like your pick, Vegas in 7. I can't really knock you too much, man. I've been knocking Vegas all playoffs long. If I recall, we both had Edmonton and Boston before the playoffs started. And look at those guys. And if you recall, the only reason Florida's in these playoffs is because the Pittsburgh Penguins couldn't beat the Chicago Blackhawks on one of the last days of the regular season. And we might not even never have mentioned the Florida Panthers had the Penguins got in there in the last 2 days. But I guess it's time for the mailman's pick. I have not done very well this whole playoffs, Tim. I'm under 500 on single game predictions. I want to say there's like close to 80 playoff games. I'm like 30-something and 40-something. Just terrible. I've not done good in my series, Tim. I mean, I kept picking the Devils, the Stars, the Edmonton Oilers, and I was a believer in Storks Leafs.
I was too. I fell for it.
But here we are, Stanley Cup Finals 2023. I did not have this matchup. My preseason matchup, if you recall, I had the Carolina Hurricanes, Nashville Predators. That was far from the truth. Remember, Carolina did not get swept, though. But Florida Panthers, Vegas
did not
Knights,
get swept.
Timmy, man, I think it's going to be a great series. I am a believer in the team of destiny. I don't care if there's been a layoff. Like you said, I'm going to go against you for fun. I'm a believer in Bobrovsky as well. But I have Matt Tkachuk win the Conn Smythe. I've got the Florida Panthers in 7 games, Tim. It'll be interesting to see the special teams. Chandler Stevenson's been on fire, the former Capital. Can he get a second Stanley Cup? There's some Cup experience on the Vegas Knights. As far as T-Bird's love, I would love to see Theodore and Keegan Colasar get a shot. But I think it's Tkachuk's Bennett. I'm going to be really interested to see how physical this thing gets, because I think both teams, Braden McNabb back there on the blue line for the Vegas Knights, he can hit. He can throw the big body. They got a big defense core back there. Is it Nicholas Hague? And Alex Pietrangelo, he's won a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. They're going to be tough on D back there. Aiden Hill's doing a great job, but I just think Florida's been getting all the bounces. I think it's going to continue. I can see a split there in Vegas, and then I'll see another split in Florida. I think each team then will take turns winning home games. And then Florida on the road in Game 7, buddy, once again breaks the hearts of the Vegas Golden Knights once they lost that inaugural season, buddy, to the Capitals at Vegas home ice in 5. That to Chuck Conn Smythe, buddy. So Florida in 7. I'm looking forward to it, dude. We got 5 minutes in the show. Before we bid adieu here on the Stanley Cup edition, what is coming up on the Courts and Fields podcast?
Well, we're in a little bit of a hiatus. I mean, not a hiatus. We got to have the last one we had our good friend Jordan visit. We need to have you on again sometime in the near future talking.
I'm ready.
Talking puck, talking mail. And then we're really gonna break down the United States Postal Service too. But might have to have the Mendel taker, Kevin Mendelson. He knows his stuff. But yeah, we'll talk a little. We'll even talk some Thunderbirds. I'm interested to hear your experience about that. But yeah, we got some stuff. Jordan will come on again. We're getting ready for football season. I mean, it's far away, but training camp start next month. We're in June already.
I'll tell you what, Timmy, time flies, dude. I can't believe. Yeah, it's crazy. Before you know it, it will be fall. I want to enjoy this summer though. Like you said though, it's been kind of a hiatus on my show as well. Sometimes it's tough to knock out shows when you got so much going on in life, but looking forward to listening to your show. I really appreciate you coming on my show. As always, I really enjoyed it, dude. Me. So, without further ado, you have the Vegas Golden Knights. I have the Florida Panthers. That Stanley Cup Finals series begins Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock for us on the west side. And Peterborough just scored. I don't know if you could hear my wife. She's watching the game. She hates the Kamloops Blazers. But Tim, man, I'm excited, dude. Thank you for joining me. This has been the Mailman, Jimmy Milstead. And this has been episode 21 of the Small Package on YouTube as well. I think I'll try to bring the boys on midway through the Stanley Cup Finals. How's that? And we'll talk more puck. And we'll have a coronation of one of these two teams. Vegas Golden Knights, Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup Finals. It's a great day for hockey, guys. The Mailman, Jimmy Milstead, out. Thanks, PipeLayer.
Thank you.